If you have paid attention to the superhero media in recent years, you'll have noticed the excessive amounts of story buildup and multiversal happenings. And with those, here are some examples. For instance, you have Loki Season 1 and Season 2 coming out, you have Multiverse of Madness, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, you have The Flash, The Flash, woo, and What If, so, there's that and a whole lot of other shit too. But listen, I like my Quantum Leap movies as much as the next person, but I can say with full truth that it's starting to get a little distasteful. And now I know you're wondering what that all has to do with the movie Blue Beetle, and my answer to that is, it really doesn't at all. See, Blue Beetle is one of those characters that's been around for a very long time, enough to at least give us 3 iterations of the character, ranging from Dan Garrett from the 30s and forwards, Ted Kord 60s and forwards, and then Jaime Reyes from 2006 till current. Now listen, I haven't been around long enough to grow up with the first 2 Blue Beetles, but Jaime, I've basically grew up with this iteration of the character, ever since my first introduction of him in Batman Brave and the Bold, where he acts like kind of a semi-protege to Batman himself, unofficial Robin, if you will, until he no longer pops up in the show. And then, his appearance in Young Justice Season 2, where the entire season kind of deals with his Scarab and the Reach creators, and many other things from that. I've always kind of, had him in my coterie of non-A-list characters, so when I heard he was getting a movie, I was originally like, oh shit, okay. And then they were like, it's gonna be a HBO Max series, and I'm like, oh. And then they're like, no, it's gonna become a movie in theaters, and I'm like, oh, okay, bet. And then the first trailer dropped, and I thought I was watching Power Rangers. That trailer was not that good. So yeah, I was worried the movie wasn't gonna hit the mark and just be another cheesy movie showcasing one of my personally favorite superheroes, and you know what, it's never felt better to be wrong, I'll say that. If I had to say something specific about Blue Beetle, I'd probably say it's a refreshing movie, and it's got a couple of reasons. One being, it doesn't have much to do in being the next stepping stone for the grander universe. Yes, it's the beginning of the Gunn's universe, I guess, in his words, but it doesn't have to do anything else in that title. It's just a nice, simple, easy movie. And 2, it's wholesome, simplistic, maintains each character really well, rather than feeling like, you got a bunch of characters, we have a main character, they're out for the last 80 minutes of the movie. So heading back to point number 1 though, the movie works on the basis that it's kind of its own standalone movie. So like I said, yeah, there's the likes of Batman and Superman, they exist in this world, and hell, Jaime's wearing a freaking Gotham Law sweater in one scene. But it's not making the movie feel like it's overshadowed by the bigger universe, or gives us depth without taking spotlight from the feel of our main protagonist. So Jaime comes home, from being the first one in his family to graduate college, and he's met with the struggles of having to work basic jobs that don't really correspond with his studies, so he can help try to save his family's home. And the whole movie consists of this journey with his family against the odds of a big evil tech corpo, she-devil, if you will. She-devil. White she-devil. Which I have to interject quickly and say, Susan Sarandon is an absolute menace in this movie. I mean, it's the typical that you always witness the main character mourn over the death of a loved one, Spoilers, by the way. If you're watching this is obviously spoilers. But in that one scene, she's in the helicopter and she's ripping Jaime away from his family. He's sitting there tied up, having to break down all this while his dad's having a heart attack. And she hits with the whole, cocky ass hand wave, When I tell you this woman does not care, she does not care. But focusing back on the grander point, I love that Jaime can go through this journey without having to live up to any, big names or feeling belittled by any big hitters in this universe so far. And the movie does stand as its own little in-universe event and kind of plays off that really well, giving us a very simplistic and heartwarming story. So with Jaime and his family playing a big part in supporting each other throughout the movie, I can say that I'm kind of surprised and glad this dynamic worked as well as it did. Oftentimes when watching these movies, that they have to give, spotlight to more than just a couple of characters, and it can either feel cluttered or unfulfilling with the screen time, and in this movie, it just doesn't feel like that at all. The movie juggles the characters like Jaime and Rudy and Milagro, his sister. I don't know if I pronounced that right, so forgive me if I didn't. But it gives us that deep family connection with comedy that doesn't overshadow, the main character's kind of personality or anything. Or it doesn't feel like a simple plot device with them that's just kind of thrown away after the first 50 minutes, With each character getting their time to shine in a sense of, who they are in a somewhat organic way. Maybe not Nana as much, because she apparently got some baggage that we don't know about. Yeah, Nana's kind of crazy in this movie. But then you have characters like Jaime's father, who kind of plays that important part of our character's tragic loss story in the film. but it kind of feels bittersweet when doing so, you know. We see his love for his family and his positivity when they're about to lose everything, further cementing this amazing characterization when he's talking to Jaime in the so-called afterlife that they're having, letting Jaime know that, you know, it's not his time yet and that he finally knows what his journey and his story is. So moments like these, you know, forward the movie into a nice, fun, and refreshing kind of state that I thought, honestly, I wouldn't have after watching the trailers. And P.S. George Lopez as Rudy, phenomenal. You know, I love his kind of conspiracy, deep state mentality mixed with George's, you know, comedic beat. That he can freaking apparently just make anything really. Rudy, love him, perfect. Probably my second favorite character in the movie besides Jaime. So in the end, you know, I gotta say this is one of the most rewatchable movies of the past year and a half, I'd say. It doesn't have to do too much or do too little. Doesn't feel cluttered or just another plot device for the bigger story. I'd recommend it. That's as simple as it can get. I would recommend this movie. Go watch it. It is good. It is fun. It is emotional. It hits beats that I feel like are missing in movies. So yeah, that's what I gotta say for that. But a little channel topic time. You know, I haven't uploaded in a hot minute. But I haven't just had any movies in particular that I really want to talk about, and being combined with a phone that doesn't want to transfer any clips to my PC, so I haven't been able to do any skits or anything, because I want to use my editing software. I don't just want to edit it on my phone and post some random stuff. You know, I want to do good stuff for y'all. But that's all going to change because I bought a camera officially, Sony a6400, and I'll have a couple things in the works already, so I don't feel burnt out by going back and forth, and especially a lot of videos are going to be happening in the fall, so watch out for that. So thank you for your support, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Go, go, Power Rangers! Go, go, Power Rangers!